Another rallying point has been terrorism, and for many years we've been fighting a global war on terror in different capacities. Different countries have contributed. Who is winning this war, if anyone?
Well, it's very difficult to say who's winning the war. I think that we are doing through the G20 as much as possible. And in this regard, I want to go back a little bit on the question of terrorism itself. And this is, terrorism is something that is very new in the agenda of the G20. It came from the declaration of in Germany, and then there was a declaration in Buenos Aires, and now we hope that we will have a declaration. But it's not even called terrorism. It's within. You'll find it in a digital economy. There are 2 paragraphs about terrorism, and this is because what I tried to say before, the G20 is not an implementation organization. So it's not that you're going to implement anything through what you have. The discussions on terrorism are being given in the appropriate bodies that you have in other organizations. Let's say, as I was saying, in the UN or within other fora that are more specific for that issue. The main question is those organizations are the ones that have to implement measures concerning terrorism. And you do it through those organizations and through bilateral agreements to increase cooperation in this field. Because if you don't do cooperation in the field of terrorism, there's no way. I said it before. Global problems require global answers. So this is the very best example on how we have to discuss these kind of issues, although it's not a macroeconomic issue or not a financial issue, but we have to discuss it because it's the possibility of coordinating that kind of cooperation that finally we are going to take forward to the appropriate organizations or to the appropriate actions that the different countries are taking.
Right. Is war on terror the best way then to tackle extremism? And are we making our efforts in the right space, considering so much of this has moved on the cyberspace and we're fighting a physical war elsewhere?
Let me just 1 second come back to what Daniel has said. Even financial aspects deal with terrorism or drug dealing or this kind of thing. So everything is connected and, well, terrorism has to be eradicated from this planet. How do we do this? Can we do this? Because the world is not only good, there are also bad people. Will we avoid this in future? I doubt it. But we have to do the measures to minimize the risks for all of us. All of the nations, I guess all the G20 nations have been victim of terrorism. So each terrorism might be a bit different, but the violence is there and the fanatics are there. Now, there's, of course, the diehards, you only can deal with them with robust manner. But it's a complicated issue because it very often it's also connected to social questions, religious questions and others. So it's not that simple. Of course, we have to find a way to protect our citizens and to give the right answers to those radical fanatics which are, you can't really talk to them. But we have a wide variety of other measures which have to aim on preventing that more people are radicalized. The youth should not be radicalized. It's unemployment. There's many things connected with it. But coming back to your question, of course, the right answer to the total radical terrorists is very robust.
Right. And you said everything's connected. So then the last ministerial meeting of G20 also talked about digital security. And we've spoken about human-centric artificial intelligence, DFFT, that is data-free flow with trust. Can we and should we then have common laws to police data and the cyberspace?
Well, this is an issue that is quite recent and has grown exponentially. And so I believe, yes, I believe there is perplexity in front of all the things that we've been seeing that are happening. and in front of all the opportunities that have been created by new technology for the bad use of new technologies. So I think, yes, this is a major issue. This is an issue I think that most of us are still learning, are still trying to understand. And I believe that this is the absolute objective case in which G20 has to deal with, because it has an impact on economics that is incredible. Because we are facing, developing countries like Brazil, we are facing a change in the profile of sectors that has been extremely quick and has been extremely difficult for developing countries that have been following a certain path of development that had a specific logic, and certainly all these elements are interfering with the plan. So we need to have a very strong international understanding about that so that we can avoid, before they happen, the major disruptions that this can cause.